Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. Today's video is the conclusion of me hiding little Morpekos throughout the course of the past few videos. Today we have a battle submission from Neo Doombot, who made a triple Morpeko team, which is obviously illegal in Go Battle League. So he challenged some friends of his in friendly battles, did not tell them what he was running ahead of time, because the only thing more frustrating than dealing with one Morpeko is dealing with three. So without further ado, let's hop into the matchups, and welcome to the Morpeko-verse. Hopping into the first match, leading Morpeko into Shadow Drapion. We're going to see a safe switch into Morpeko. Opponent sends out Goodra, but this Morpeko is on Outrage. Does the opponent know about the coverage move? They do not! Down goes Goodra! That's a one-hit KO! Oh my goodness, absolute disaster for the opponent as Drapion re-enters the field of play. Drapion is going to go for the Aqua Tail. Morpeko, unfortunately, unable to make it to the Aura Wheel, but now in comes another Morpeko. Morpeko can survive an Aqua Tail, but it would do quite a lot of damage, so we are going to see the first shield used, and now a bait going for the Psychic Fangs, hoping for the shield from the opponent. The Psychic Fangs does get shielded, and now Morpeko switches to Hangry form. Morpeko is still going to get outpaced here. Aqua Tail again will not KO, but it will do quite a bit of damage, so we are going to see a no shield from the Morpeko, and now Morpeko will look to unleash the Dark Aura Wheel. Dark Aura Wheel is going to connect. That's a KO in the back. It's going to be for Alligator, and Morpeko number 3 has been revealed. Morpeko is going to be shielding up the Hydro Cannon and now going for the Aura Wheel, looking to boost up the damage here. Aura Wheel is going to be shielded by the Feraligatr. Feraligatr will be able to outpace here and pick up the knockout, but the Morpeko has already dealt massive fast move damage. It's going to be a race here. Morpeko number 3 does get to the Psychic Fangs. Now, this is not a very powerful attack, but the opponent has just taken too much damage. Down goes Feraligatr, and that's a good game. Picking up a Nightmare lead in the next match, Morpeko into Primeape. Morpeko farming up quite a bit of energy. Opponent tries for a Psychic Fangs catch onto Sableye, but the catch attempt is unsuccessful, and now Morpeko has back-to-back Aura Wheels. Aura Wheel is going to connect, and that's a clean one-hit KO of the Shadow Sableye. Back in comes the Primeape. Primeape now going to be hit with a boosted Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs is going to be shielded. The opponent will have to throw here, otherwise Morpeko can make another Psychic Fangs. Morpeko choosing to let this go. The Rage Fist connects, and it does too much damage. The next Psychic Fangs will not be reached. In comes Morpeko number 2, but this is honestly a bit tricky. The opponent can probably go, I was going to say straight Rage Fist, but they end up full sending a close combat. Morpeko, thankful that it did commit the shield there, and now going to fire back with the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is going to pick up the KO. In the back is Hippowdon, and this is absolutely unfortunate. Going for the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is shielded, looking to switch into Morpeko number 3, and this is all going to come down to, can an Outrage pick up a knockout? Morpeko commits the shield. It's going to be the Weather Ball from the Shadow Hippowdon, but Shadow Hippowdon gets to another move. It is just going to be the Weather Ball, though. That doesn't KO. The Outrage is reached, and it all comes down to this. Can Outrage KO Hippowdon? Outrage, massive damage to the Hippowdon, but it's not enough. Hippowdon sand attacks down the final 2 Morpekos, and that's game over. A familiar lead in the next match, leading Morpeko into Shadow Drapion. Drapion will strike first, firing off an Aqua Tail, and we see a no shield from the Morpeko, as it knows that's a move it will be able to survive. Nice overfarm by the Morpeko, playing to the CMP tie versus the Drapion. Aura Wheel does get shielded as the opponent looks to keep the Drapion healthy. But Morpeko now going to commit the shield itself, looking to farm up quite a bit of energy. There's a switch out by the opponent and a snipe. The Mud Shot KOs. So much energy lost, and in comes Morpeko number 2. This Morpeko really has to hope the Swampert doesn't know about Seed Bomb, and they do not. That's going to be a one-hit knockout. So down goes the Swampert, but that lost energy is still such a problem, as unfortunately there was well over an Aura Wheel on that first Morpeko. In comes Morpeko number 3, and Morpeko number 3 has a lot of work cut out for it here if it's going to be able to pick up a win. In the back, the opponent does have Bibarel. Bibarel going to get smacked with an Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is going to be shielded. Morpeko now switching to Hangry form. This is going to be a boosted Dark Aura Wheel. Will this be enough to pick up the knockout? Bibarel not the tankiest, and it will get KO'd. In comes the Drapion. Drapion gets the farm down, and it's going to farm down all the Morpekos and take the win. Tough lead in the next match, Morpeko versus Dragonair. Dragonair, honestly, will still take a lot of damage from Electric type Aura Wheel. We're going to see an early shield from Morpeko as the Dragonair will go for the Aqua Tail, and now there's a switch out by the opponent into Ferrothorn. There's not an amazing response to Ferrothorn on this team. It's actually a Shadow Ferrothorn at that, so just going to stay in here with Morpeko. Boost up the damage with the Electric Aura Wheel, and now going for a bait. The Psychic Fangs bait is successful, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and just going to take the damage as he can get it. Going for another Psychic Fang. That's going to get the opponent very, very low. The opponent will be unable to farm down. They try for it, but Morpeko hangs on with 1 HP. In comes the Dragonair. The Dragon Breath does not go through, and Aura Wheel picks up a one-hit KO. In the back is Shadow Steelix. Now, Shadow Steelix is going to be on its updated fast move of Thunder Fang, which means it does not have a lot of fast move pressure here. Seed Bomb is going to connect, but the biggest issue for Morpeko now is the Morpeko with Psychic Fangs has already been knocked out, so there's no ability to apply debuffs to the opponent. Speaking of debuffs, the opponent is going to Psychic Fangs the Morpeko. A Seed Bomb bait from Morpeko is going to grab the final shield. Morpeko, unfortunately, back to the form. Oh, as we see a very nice switch out and a catch. Back to the form where it is going to have the Electric Aura Wheel catching the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe does apply a debuff, which is a bit unfortunate, and this game is going to go down to the wire. Another Breaking Swipe is going to get Morpeko very low, just opting for the Electric Aura Wheel, trying to get whatever damage he possibly can. Electric Aura Wheel is going to connect, not doing a ton of damage though. Can Morpeko get to the move? The answer is no. Morpeko unable to get there. Breaking Swipe connects, and unfortunately the team of Morpekos ends up falling. This team of Morpekos on a bit of a losing streak now. It's going to have to fight back, but unfortunately not off to a great start leading into Superior. Just going straight for the Electric Aura Wheel. That is going to connect, dealing some solid damage to the Superior. Superior overfarming quite a bit. Frenzy Plant would just one-hit KO here. We will see the shield at the last second as the opponent will full send. And now a Psychic Fangs bait here, hoping to grab the shield from Superior, and Superior does commit the first shield. Morpeko going to be hit with another move from the Superior. This will be a no shield. The opponent went for an Aerial Ace bait. A massive misplay. Opponent sends in their own Morpeko, and now they're going to have to deal with a boosted Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is going to inflict some serious damage. Opponent lets it go. They're forced to throw energy, and this first Morpeko provided insane value for Neo, and now he gets farm on one of his Morpekos in the back. So he does get a 1 Thundershock head start. Is the opponent going to be sending back in that Superior, or will we see the third? They bring out Bibarel, and it looks like the tides have turned, and the 3 Morpeko team is going to get back in the win column. Aura Wheel is going to be shielded up by the Bibarel. Bibarel going to be firing off a Surf. Morpeko choosing to let it go. Oh, they actually go for the Hyper Fang that will pick up the KO, but this is just a very comfortable win for Morpeko number 3 at this point. Morpeko is going to be committing the shield. Bibarel goes for the big damage here, the quick switch to Superior, and that will immediately be answered with the Electric Aura Wheel. Electric Aura Wheel is going to KO Superior. Back in comes Bibarel. Bibarel getting Thundershock down thanks to the boost, and that's a good game. Moving to the next match, picking up a pretty solid lead, Morpeko into Ariados. Morpeko gets the Aura Wheel when Ariados gets the lunge, but Morpeko does win the charge attack priority tile. Aura Wheel, massive damage, and the Ariados barely hanging on as it's going to make the last second lunge. The shield by Morpeko. Opponent actually goes for a Trailblaze there, and now they send in Altaria. Altaria going to be hit with a boosted Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs is going to grab a shield from the opponent, and now we see the switch to the Morpeko that does have access to Outrage. Morpeko farming up, going for the Outrage. Altaria does have a lot of energy. Are they going to respect it here? Outrage connects. The Altaria does not. And in the back is going to be Drapion. Drapion going to be hit with the Dark type Aura Wheel. Dark type Aura Wheel is going to be no shielded. That does massive damage, and it's a CMP tie. Oh, that is absolutely disastrous for the opponent. And now in comes the third Morpeko, and at this point it can probably just commit to a Thundershock farm down, as Aqua Tail does do a lot, but it's not enough. Neo actually gonna boost up those Thundershocks with the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel shielded by the Drapion, but it's just too little too late, as the Thundershocks will deliver victory. Don't look now, but that's back-to-back wins by the Triple Morpeko team. And the Triple Morpeko team off to a good start in the next match, as it leads into a Feraligatr that's staying in. Oh my goodness. Electric type Aura Wheel is going to be shielded by the opponent. And if you're Morpeko, you are very happy to shield back here. The Thundershocks are what's really going to start shredding. Opponent is going to switch out into the Drapion. Drapion really does not want to take a +1 Dark type Aura Wheel. That will inflict some serious damage. They commit the shield. This Morpeko is now so boosted, and the Morpeko actually just going to settle for the Psychic Fangs on the CMP tie. Psychic Fangs is going to land, and at this point, you're just going to let this Morpeko go. It's definitely done its job, and now you're going to try and sweep with the Morpekos in the back. Morpeko number 2 enters the field of play, immediately met with an Aqua Tail from the Drapion. Drapion is going to fire off Aqua Tail number 2, and then is going to grab a shield. Morpeko would love a farm down here if possible, and gets the farm down. Morpeko with energy so deadly. I believe that was a Malamar that was brought in, and he switched to Feraligatr, and now we know why they stayed. They're ABA Week 2 Morpeko, and this team has 3 of them. Aura Wheel is going to connect. So much damage to the Malamar. May as well show off Morpeko number 3, and that's a good game. Moving to the next match, Morpeko into Dunsparce. Dunsparce, of course, can apply some serious pressure with Drill Run. Neo tried to go for the CMP tie, but the opponent went for good timing, so they get an entire free rollout. And now they're only 1 away from the back-to-back drill runs. Morpeko will commit the shield. Dunsparce went for a Rock Slide, anticipating a catch, but with 3 Morpekos, there's nothing to catch on. Psychic Fangs is going to pick up the KO, and down goes Dunsparce. Opponent sends in Cresselia, and if this is your best response to a boosted Morpeko, then you just don't have a response to Morpeko. Aura Wheel is going to grab the shield from the opponent. Morpeko continues the farm, but not quite able to make it to the Aura Wheel. Opponent is going to go for the Grass Knot, and it does not KO. Morpeko can't take much, but it can survive that, making the Aura Wheel picking up the 1-hit KO. And in the back is Shadow Ampharos. Shadow Ampharos now going to be met with the Seed Bomb Morpeko, and this Morpeko is going to be firing off the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is going to be no shielded, and that just does significant damage to the Ampharos. Ampharos is going to be firing off its energy. Ampharos goes for the Trailblaze. That does so much damage. The switch to Morpeko number 3. And this Morpeko should be able to get a farm down here, shielding up the Trailblaze. Opponent needs to get to another move, but it's unable to do so. And that's game over. We move to the next match, picking up a difficult lead. Any grass type is going to be a pretty big problem for this team due to the fact that it's going to be resisting the electric damage. Morpeko is going to strike first with a Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs, immediate no shield by the Abomasnow. Abomasnow has farmed up to a potential energy ball. Thinking about it, calls the bait, and it's an Icy Wind. Gonna bank some energy, sending in Morpeko number 2. This Morpeko is gonna take quite a bit of damage unless it puts up a shield, which it does, but now it's going to be debuffed. There's no Psychic Fangs on this Morpeko, so Neo's forced to go straight for the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is going to connect, does actually pick up the KO. In comes Quagsire. Quagsire now going to be hit with the Dark type Aura Wheel. This Aura Wheel is going to be shielded. These mud shots are adding up significantly, making it to a Seed Bomb. The question is, does the opponent respect it here? No, they don't. They thought it was just going to be a Psychic Fangs at worst. In the back is Starmie, and things are honestly looking great here. In comes Morpeko number 3. We see a quick switch into the first Morpeko, and a Psychic Fangs fired at the opponent. They are going to let that through, calling that it was going to be the bait, but even making that call does not win them this game, as Starmie is not going to be able to do enough damage here. Power Gem does a ton, but it's not enough, and that will be game over. Hopping into the final match, and it's another grass type lead leading into Superior. We have seen this team overcome Superior before though, so it is definitely possible. The Psychic Fangs fired at the Superior, and of course the immediate no shield from the opponent as Morpeko becomes hangry. Tough call to make here. Are they going to bait? Are they going to full send the shield? And getting the call right. and now gonna look to grab the shield back with the dark type Aura Wheel. This Aura Wheel will inflict some serious damage so the opponent is forced to give up a shield. Morpeko does actually make it to a Psychic Fangs. Now this Psychic Fangs will do a ton of damage to that superior, and that does end up being a CMP tie. So overall, Morpeko definitely put in a ton of work. Opponent will go for the aerial ace. We're going to see a switch out into Morpeko number 2 as the opponent fires off a Frenzy Plant, and that nearly picks up the KO. Morpeko would love the farm down, but it's Morpeko himself that gets farmed down, and now it's all up to Morpeko number 3. Opponent gonna send in Drapion. Drapion immediately answered with the electric type Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel shielded up by the opponent. A catch may be what's needed in this game. The switch clock should be up soon for Neo. Neo is going to commit the shield. There's the catch onto the first Morpeko. What a play. Beautiful execution there. And now he's back to being an electric type. In the back is going to be Bibarel, and Neo farms up to the back-to-back Aura Wheels. But throwing this Aura Wheel means that his next one is going to be Dark, which is resisted, so he's going to reach for the boosted Outrage. This will hit for boosted neutral damage. Down goes the Shadow Drapion, and that is a good game. All in all, this was one of the most fun battle submissions that I've gotten the opportunity to shoutcast, and I do feel that it's a very fitting conclusion to the various Morpekos that have been hidden in videos for the past few days. Morpeko, it's a very, very fun Pokemon. As I mentioned at the start, this is obviously not a team that's legal in Go Battle League, so we had to battle against friends to get this footage, but it does really feel very thematic, considering this definitely feels like the season of electric types with all the buffs that have been given to electric moves, and Morpeko, love it or hate it, is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.